Hey guys, welcome back. So right now we are able to create a contact, and every time we add a contact, it's added here on our list. So in this video, I want us to go ahead and every time we add a contact, to navigate to that contact. Now we can do that through several ways. For example, every time we save on the server, we can have a callback that gives us a contact that was saved, and then we can just navigate with it. But what I want to do is I want to be implementing it in another way. So right now, every time we add an item here, we want to be able to know which one was added last, and then we navigate to the details with that item. So previously this was possible using some lifecycle hooks like component did update. So right now it's not really possible in hooks, but I want to show you how we can use refs to achieve the same thing. So for us to be able to know that something changed, we are going to need to check if the length of this list has changed. Now remember, we have a hook called useEffect. So with useEffect, we can literally run some code when something in the dependencies change. So here we're going to have, remember our list is in data, so we're going to have data.length here. So here every time data.length changed, we're going to know that something was maybe added or removed. Now when it's added, then we're going to be looking for which one was added, and then we're going to be navigating to the details like this using that item. So here, first thing we're going to need to do is have a ref that will store our previous data. So as you know, so refs can be used to store some state across renders. So let's say if we have a ref that is storing our list and the component renders, it won't be updated. It will keep the previous data state there. So here let's have a ref. So we can have const contact ref. It can be react.useRef. Let's have useRef. So in here we can have it as empty by default. So here in our use state, we are going to be saving the previous state for the contacts. So we're going to have something like prev. We're going to set it to contactsRef.current. So of course initially it's going to be empty, so that means our previous state is going to be empty. But now every time this changes, we are going to be updating it to that data in time. We are going to be updating it to the list for the data. So here we can have contactsRef, then we want to call current, then we're going to now set it to data. See that? Then now we can keep track of the new changes in the list. So we can have those. I'm going to call it like new list. So this is now is going to be what has been changed. So that's going to be contactsCurrent contactsRef.current. So now this means that we have the previous one for which initially will be empty, and then the new one for which, let's say if one was added, then it's going to be the representation for the new one that we have set here. So here we can check if it's only one that was added. So that means that we don't really want to run this every time we load in, let's say like 30 contacts. We want to make sure it was just one that was added. So you can do a simple check. So you can say if new ones, then we want to check .length. So we want to say if new list.length minus prev list or prev.length equals 1. So I want to check if it was only one that was added. So if it's one that was added, then we want to check which is that was added. So const new contact. We're going to be finding the new contact in this list that does not appear in this list. So we're going to look in this list and find every other item that does not appear in this prev list. So the way we do that is we can do new list.find. So find will return for us an object. So here we can find by item. So for each of the items, we want to make sure it is not in the previous array. So we do that by checking prev array, then we want to map. So when we map, it's going to give us an item. So item, we can just do item dot, we're going to be searching by the ID. So here you can do item.id. Then we want to search for includes this item ID. So here you can do includes, save it. Now we should be able to have our new contact. So I'm going to come here and do a simple console log for the new contact here and save. So now let's run the app. Okay, so it's going to load. If we come to add, let's say we add some other contact. If we save, see that it's going to save. Then it's going to, when it's done, it's going to navigate here to the details. So that's what we wanted to achieve, and looks like we have achieved it. So the whole thing is you knowing how the ref works. So like we said, the ref can keep state, and that state will not change even when the component re-renders. So first we need to have like the previous state and also the current state. So every time the data length change, we are going to be setting the current state to the data, or the current value of the ref to the new data. So now here you see we get to know that one changed, and we get to know that by using the find function, for which we just use the map to get all the IDs. And so the map returns for us an array of IDs, so we can check if those IDs contain the item ID that's running at this point. So every time we find one, then we are going to be able to save it because it's an object. Then we navigate to it like this. So that's gonna do it for now. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section, and I'll talk to you in the next video.